and fruitful. I have very little information to relay about judicial branch information coming our way, but we do have two updates for you, one response. Just so everyone knows, we're aiming at 15 minutes or less with this briefing. Please be ready to share any questions you might have or any concerns you might have at the end of our briefing, and send some email questions to, or chat questions, anything like that you might have. So the update on notarization, remote notarization, which the MSBA was in the forefront on March 25th. We sent a letter to the governor. Derek Langhauser, who is the chief counsel for the governor, did get back to us today, this morning, just to let us know where things stand. There have been, as I've reported in the past, a number of groups that have been interested in a remote notarization emergency order. As it is right now, Attorney Langhauser has told us that the Secretary of State, the Attorney General's office, and the Judiciary Committee of the legislature are all working on a resolution, and all three apparently have differing opinions as to how to resolve the issue. And I did offer our help to provide any other feedback they might need to help move them along. I have not heard back on that yet. The good news is too, we received a response from the judicial branch. The Director of Communications gave us a response. We have two slides we're going to show you. I'm going to go through them very quickly. On April 1st, we sent this request to the judicial branch. For those of you that do not have video, our request was like this. An attorney received a final order dated March 19th from a judge on an FM case. Rule 59 allows for a motion to amend and a motion for findings of fact and conclusions of law. Does the attorney have what the rule allows, 14 days plus 49 additional days as referenced in the PMO SJC 2, the one of the latest orders that came out on March 30th, to file for the same? And at the same time, our notices of appeal for this same final order due 21 days after March 30th? And if so, how do those periods work together? And in the next slide, this was the response that we received from the Director of Communications. I don't think this has been published yet, but this is, I assume, going to be put on their questions and responses publication that they do. As you can see, they're claiming that the period of time to file for one of these Rule 59 motions is going to go 14 days plus 49 days. They're also stating that the appellate rule allows for you to file the notice of appeal pending a decision on a Rule 59 motion too. So we're going to post this question and response to our website so you can have a chance to review it. And with that, we have a few minutes for our special guest, Bill Nugent. And Bill, are you there? Just also, I want to say as a reminder, Bill is the one that wrote the article on gratitude in the last Maine Bar Journal publication. Bill, you got to take her off mute.
I'm trying to unmute him and I can't. He must have muted it himself.
Right.
Unmute now. I just hit unmute now. Does that work?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
We can.
That's good. I'm unfortunately just an analog guy trapped in a digital world, which is why you can't see my photograph, but or see my face. But you're not missing anything. It's been obviously a very interesting time over the last couple of weeks, and what's actually been interesting for us at MAP is that we have not actually received, there hasn't been a big uptick in people contacting us with issues around the anxiety or stress or depression that that can accompany a situation like this. It's pretty unique, and none of us have faced it before. I attribute that, I think, to a lot of people have been spending energy just trying to figure out how to work remotely from their office, how their support staff can help them, perhaps getting together with people to make an application for those small business loans that have become available. I expect what we're going to see in the coming weeks will be more people contacting us. And I want to give you the contact number for MAP if you want to call, even if it's just to talk and maybe vent. It's 266-5951. That's my cell phone, so I should be able to talk to you quite, if I don't pick up the phone, I'll be able to get back to you quite quickly. I think what's really important, just a few things in going through this, and that is to maintain a perspective. This is very unique for all of us, but it's important to always keep in mind that this too will pass. This is a temporary thing, and a year from now, we will look back on it quite differently without the high level of anxiety that we see. Anxiety and stress are certainly legitimate at this time, but it's important to remember that anxiety and stress has more to do with how an individual responds to stimuli as opposed to the stimulus itself. And by that, I mean, I think it's important to keep things in perspective, as I said, and to also be able to kind of take care of yourself in ways that are very basic in terms of getting enough sleep, getting exercise, which I think is difficult for some people. I know I play tennis and golf, and both of those have been shut down for the most part in the state of Maine. So I have to find some alternative means of exercise. But I think getting out and exercising is really important. I think it's also very important that we avoid isolation. If we're kind of locked in a house with several kids and a partner, you may not feel isolated, but I think it's important to maintain contact with people who are important in your life, whether it's by Zoom or FaceTime or just over the phone, or maybe even just by email or texting. But keeping in contact with people, I think, is very, very important. And lastly, I would say, I think this is an excellent opportunity for us to kind of reflect on what our lives are really like and what's really important in our lives. I think we can reassess our values through going through an experience like this, and I think it's an opportunity that we should not let pass by. We realize, for example, that there may be some people in our lives, we may not know them, but who are very, very important. And maybe we have an appreciation for the things that they do, whether it's certainly the people on the front lines in medicine and the emergency room, the EMTs and officers, but also people who collect our trash, which needs to be done, people who check us out at the supermarket. I think those are things that are really can really be beneficial as a result of the experience that we're going through. And I think that, as I wrote in my article, keeping in mind things for which you are grateful and writing them down, maybe on a daily basis or every few days, will help put things in perspective. And there are lots of other things I could talk about, but I don't want to take up all the time. But I think those are some of the very basic things that we can do to get ourselves through this period of time that for some of us seems very, very difficult. And
Bill,
again,
Bill, I was just going to say thank you very much. Was there something that you wanted to finish with? I thought you were just finishing.
No, I was just going to give my number again, 266-5951.
Bill, thank you very much for coming on board and giving us some perspectives to keep us sane in this process we're going through, and with some ideas too. Thank you. On the business side of things, we need to keep up the communication. I've said that before, and I know that our executive director Angela has some updates for us about what's happened or what we've learned over the last couple of days. Thank you, Angela.
Thanks, Bill, for joining us, and thanks, Thad. I do have several quick announcements. On our resource page at www.mainebar.org, and you click on the banner at the top, you'll hit our coronavirus page. We have a lot of updates. This is a new update. Oops, I'm gonna mute Bill. Okay. We have an update from the Somerset County Probate Court. So if you're in that area and you have an interest in that, please visit there. We just received word today that the Maine Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, MACDL, has postponed its annual meeting, which was supposed to be in June. They think it's going to be in October. They don't have an exact date yet. Please note that our meeting, as of right now, our June summer meeting is still on, and we will keep you informed if the format of that or anything about that changes. But as of right now, it's still on for June 24th through 26th in Bar Harbor. We've been looking at the options available under the CARES Act, particularly for the Maine State Bar Association, and how the Paycheck Protection Plan might benefit us. And it's our interpretation, based on our filing status as a 501c6, that we are not eligible at this time. I know that there's some talk out there about maybe another package having 501c6s, but as of right now, we found that that doesn't apply to us. So if you are advising clients, you might want to check the eligibility requirements in the guidelines. And I've got two other things. I wanted to, for those of you that haven't heard, we're very sorry to hear about the passing of Justice Carl Bradford on March 29th of this year. He was a Superior Court Justice since 1981 and a past president of the Maine State Bar Association. So we were very sorry to hear about that. And as I was sitting here, I received an email from Tim Robbins, who's the executive director of Kids First. And he asked if we could let you know that Kids First Center is open and offering programs virtually. The AOC has informed the bench, but since family cases are on hold, it's not being, referrals aren't being made. But they have sent me a temporary schedule for April and May. And I will share that on our resource page. And they've also posted a video on their website about co-parenting during the pandemic. So we'll post that information on our resource page once this call is over. That's all I have, Thad.
Thank you, Angela. I just want to give you a brief story on Justice Bradford. We needed a bugler because our bugler had canceled on us for our post 164 American Legion Post Veterans Day ceremony. And Justice Bradford came down at, I think he only had like maybe 12 hours notice, and with his trumpet, and did taps for us. So it was very nice.
He's a veteran himself.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. As far as journal, my gratitude journal goes, I had an entry for, and Bill Nugent even mentioned it, our sanitation workers, picking up our trash faithfully. I actually spoke with one at the middle of last week that had indicated he just started working for the sanitation, or I think it's waste management we have come up, because the company was shorthanded. So there's even new recruits on that side. making sure that our trash gets disposed of during these times where that can be challenging too. Of the 6 criteria that I mentioned in the ABA personal health side webinar that I attended, the sleep, exercise, diet, hydration, relationships, and work tempo being the things that we should be keeping an eye on and working on. Tempo is the 6th one to mention today, where it refers to essentially how you address your whole day. That goes from getting up to work, to routine, to making the habits of staying with your meal habits, your work habits, and your bedtime habits, so that you still keep some normalcy. And realizing that the change that has come with COVID-19's lockdown essentially is that it actually is harder on us. It's creates more stress, tires us out faster, and the key is to just keep up those habits that have been mentioned before and that Bill mentioned too, with exercise and nutrition. And with that being said, are there any questions to share or concerns? I know we're pushing our 11:15 time frame. We want to let everyone be able to go to the CDC and see the updates there should they desire. Angela, any alibis?
No, sir.
Did we have any chat questions come up?
No, I posted Bill's phone number, and Fred shared a good idea to work out, getting out there and getting your wood ready for next year. So that's about it.
Sounds great. All right, thanks. See you all tomorrow, 11 o'clock.
Thank you.